You know that sinking feeling when the credit card bill shows up? That feeling that you're just stuck? It's a heavy weight to carry. So today, we're going to cut right through all the noise. We're comparing the shiny promises of a quick fix with the real, proven strategies that can actually get you out of debt for good. All right, let's dive in. Wow, this quote from Meredith Margrave at Zacks, it just nails it, doesn't it? Quicksand. That's exactly what it feels like. You make a payment, you think you're getting ahead, you feel that tiny bit of relief, and then bam, life happens and you're pulled right back where you started. It is an absolutely exhausting cycle. It really is like a financial tug of war. You're pulling with all your might to get ahead, but those high interest rates and unexpected bills are pulling just as hard in the other direction. So when you feel like you're losing that fight, of course you're going to look for help. But listen, you have got to be so careful about what kind of help you accept. So let's start with one of the solutions you see advertised everywhere: debt settlement. You've heard the ads, right? We can slash your debt in half. It sounds like a miracle, almost too good to be true. And well, that's often because it is. Okay, so here's the pitch. It's super simple. They tell you to stop paying your credit cards. Instead, you pay them, the debt settlement company, a monthly fee. They just kind of sit on that money until it builds up into a nice big pile. Then they go to your creditors and try to offer them a lump sum to just make the debt go away for less than you owe. They sell it as this easy, hands-off fix. So yeah, that's the official textbook definition, a service that negotiates for you. But the real story, the part they don't put in the brochure, is what's actually happening behind the scenes while you're making those payments to them instead of your lenders. And this, right here, is where that shiny promise starts to completely fall apart. We're looking at a deep dive report from the National Consumer Law Center, the NCLC, and it shows the reality of debt settlement is, well, it's often a nightmare. So this gets us to the most important question of all. When these companies tell you to just stop paying your creditors, what are the actual consequences? What is the real price tag on this so-called easy fix? 161 points. According to that NCLC report, that's the average nosedive your credit score takes in just the first 6 months. Now, to put that in perspective, one single late payment might drop your score 30, maybe 40 points. This is catastrophic. It can instantly take your credit from good to poor, making it almost impossible to get a car loan, a mortgage, anything, for years to come. And the damage doesn't stop with your credit score, not even close. The NCLC report shows it's like this terrible domino effect. First, most major credit card companies just flat out refuse to negotiate with these settlement firms. So while you're not paying, your original debts are just getting bigger and bigger with late fees and interest. The collection calls get worse. You can even get sued. And, get this, for the final insult, any debt that is forgiven can be treated as taxable income by the IRS. Unbelievable! So, the bottom line from consumer advocates is crystal clear. For so many people, debt settlement isn't a life raft, it's an anchor. It promises to save you, but can end up pulling you into an even deeper hole. But hey, that's not where the story ends. Let's talk about the proven strategies that actually put you back in the driver's seat. All right, let's build a real path forward. We're going to look at 2 proven do-it-yourself strategies that put you and nobody else firmly in control. The 2 most popular and effective strategies out there are the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. They have totally different philosophies, but they have the exact same goal: getting you to zero debt. One's all about psychology and building momentum, and the other is about pure math and saving you money. Let's break them down. The snowball method is all about the psychology of winning. You're looking for those quick wins to keep you motivated. So you find your smallest debt, maybe it's a $500 store card, and you attack it with every spare dollar you have. Once it's paid off, boom, you get this huge motivational boost. You've won. Then you take the money you were paying on that card and snowball it onto the payment for the next smallest debt. Now, the avalanche method, that's pure math. This is for the person who wants the most efficient, money-saving path. You ignore the balance and you go straight for the jugular, the debt with the highest interest rate. You know, that 28% APR credit card that's just eating you alive. It might take longer to get that first win, but by tackling the most expensive debt first, you are guaranteed to pay less interest over the long haul. You're plugging the biggest leak in your financial boat. Whichever method you choose, snowball or avalanche, There are financial tools that can basically act like a turbo boost for your plan. Let's look at a couple of the most common ones. First up, balance transfer cards. Now, if you're disciplined, this can be a total game changer. You move your high interest debt onto a new card that has a 0% introductory rate for like a year or even longer. This basically hits the pause button on interest. Suddenly, every single dollar you pay goes directly to shrinking your debt, not just feeding the interest beast. Yeah, there's usually a 3 to 5% transfer fee, but that's often a small price to pay to escape a 25% interest rate. But, and this is a huge but, you have to be careful. As this Reddit user put it so perfectly, these cards are a trap if you're not committed. That 0% rate is a ticking clock. If you haven't paid off the balance when that promotional period ends, the interest rate can just explode, often to something even higher than what you started with. And then you're in an even worse spot. Another option is a debt consolidation loan. Here, you take out one new loan to pay off all your different credit cards. This really simplifies your life because now you just have one single fixed monthly payment. And if you have a decent credit score, you can lock in a much lower interest rate. It gives you a clear finish line. But look, what if doing it all yourself just feels like too much? Tackling debt alone is hard, and sometimes bringing in a professional is the absolute smartest move you can make. The key is finding the right kind of help. And this right here gets to the heart of it all. Not all help is created equal. There is a world of difference between a for-profit company that's trying to sell you a product and a nonprofit credit counseling agency, which is legally required to act in your best interest. This chart from the NCLC report tells the entire story. Just look at the difference. Look down the column for a nonprofit debt management plan. Does it stop harassment? Yes. Are fees predictable? Yes. Now look at debt settlement. No. 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 It is night and day. And maybe the most shocking thing on here is the credit score impact. We talked about that 161-point drop with settlement, but with Chapter 7 bankruptcy, scores often increase right away because the debt is just gone. It's a clean slate. So, where do you find these legit counselors? Two of the most trusted organizations in the entire country are the National Foundation for Credit Counseling and the Financial Counseling Association of America. Their websites, nfcc.org and fcaa.org, are the gold standard for finding real nonprofit help. You know, a great first step, whether you go it alone or decide to get help, is just to get organized. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has this fantastic, totally free debt worksheet. It helps you get everything down on paper: who you owe, how much, and what the interest rate is. You can't make a plan if you don't have a map. So we've covered the dangerous promises and the powerful proven strategies. You know the tools, you know the methods, and you know where to find real, trustworthy help. The path out of debt isn't a secret, it's a choice, and it's followed by a plan. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be?